Through the white thunderstorms, we ride on the back of our cars in a fearless flight. Sons of gold, hearts made of fire, conquering lands, fueling our desires. Soaring engines and lightning in our eyes. United we stand, our strength won't compromise. From the east to the west, we sail every road with our warriors. Never feel alone, landscapes of freedom. Beneath open skies, a promised land where our spirits arise. We battle the storms, the tides of the sea. Now we've arrived in the land we're meant to be.
Yo, the hell's up, losers?
Double Ho 7 leading the DragonShip today. How you doing, Glenn Lawrence?
I'm doing well. I've been on a mission, secret, very secret mission. I've been doing some hospionage. It's kind of like espionage, but like with the hose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
They got a whole tactic and trick that they're deploying out on you, gentlemen. And I'm here to give you a report. See, these hoes are not trying to get in your bed. No, they don't want to play the dirty girl. They have other ways to try to get you hooked on them. And they have a whole book, the whole book of world ho-ness. It's called Ho Tactics. And we're going to be talking about what kind of ho tactics are women using today. And it may not be what you think it is. So who's ready to understand some ho tactics? Or what do you think? Let's first ask the panel. What are ho tactics?
I think
our ho tactics.
I think one of the ho tactics that I've been seeing lately is they pretend to be the wifey. So they will do things like give you the poon and cook and clean for you, but it won't last forever. And if you don't start paying their power bill and their nail bill and start giving them the cash, then they pull back on that. So it was just a way to lure you in. That's something I've seen.
Yeah, I would define, generally speaking, I would define ho tactics as ways that women try to covertly manipulate situations so that they can get what they want out of it.
Okay. Tarl?
Yeah, I'd say that it's when women are being manipulative rather than being persuasive. Because being persuasive is one thing. Like, that's one of the things I advocate for. You need to be persuasive where both parties are benefiting. But if only one party is benefiting, that's manipulation.
So, ho tactics.
I'd like to say that tactic you're talking about is probably as old as Western society. 41 years ago, I married my first wife, and that was you just described her tactics to a T. That's exactly what she did. Was wifely, was submissive, and as much sex as I wanted. But I think the mistake that I made back then is I let her eat that food that takes away all their sexual desire. You guys ever heard of that?
Wedding cake.
It's called wedding cake. Yes. So that's why I've been married 31 years now, and I did not let her eat any wedding cake. So good rule of thumb.
See, we know that women, we tend to label women hoes that are promiscuous, right? And we'll be like, these women are hoes because they sleep around a lot. They must be jumping from D to D, right? That's what we would call a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Audio cut out.
Yeah, your mic just cut out. Come on, Glenn. I thought you were a professional. Yeah, it's not coming. It's not coming through.
Your computer doesn't like you, Glenn. It's trolling you now.
Disc, go ahead, leave and rejoin. We'll get you up here.
All right, how about now?
Hey,
There we go.
there
we
it
go.
is, and that's the real mic coming in now, not the fake mic.
So, so like hoes, we know hoes like to sleep around. That's what you're used to, right?
Yeah.
The new hoe is not one that sleeps around. Actually, that's going to be the least thing that they do.
Okay.
They're trying to present potential sexual relationship in the future, but no actual sexual interaction. They think a good hoe is a hoe that doesn't even get naked with. She gives you the illusion and the desire that there will be eventually. So what they're saying is like one of the highest levels of hoedom is having the unwavering skill of self-confidence and be able to garner what they want from men without any exchange of sexual favors.
So a simp leader.
It's your trad girl from church. I'm not going to sleep around. No, I'm holding out for marriage, but I'm going to give you the impression that you might be the guy that I marry. They're not prostitutes by any means. And guys, we've said this here on the DragonShip many times. Men love hoes. All men love hoes. They don't want to marry a hoe, but they love hoes. Men love hoes. I mean, if men didn't love hoes, hoes wouldn't be a thing. Right?
Yep.
So they know that because men love hoes and what hoes represents a sexual or a beauty, right? That men want to obtain, conquer, possess, right? They play on that, but they have no intentions in giving that.
A tease.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see it all the time in like Discord spaces and stuff like that. It's one of the things I tried to warn a lot of the fresh and fit guys about. And what was that? Oh, attention whores. They sit there, oh, I'm red pilled, I'm avoiding all these bad girls. I'm dealing with nothing but good girls now. So like, yeah, women always sell that purity, even in those spaces, and they always don't want to come off like a hoe. So what are they going to do? Oh, I'm just coming here to talk about anime and video games. Oh, I'm just here to hang out and shoot the shit
with my tits out.
But what happens is, well, no, not even with their tits out. What happens is they'll come in, they'll try to garner some attention. If they don't get attention, or say another woman is getting attention, what do? They just fucking leave. And if I'm following them, I see where they go. Oh, then they popped up in the other voice chat and there to get attention. So they're clearly being an attention whore. But yet guys keep thinking, oh, I'm going to make myself an emotional tampon. That's the terminology used in the red pill spaces and whatnot. And they think that, even though they're red pilled, they're thinking, oh, this is fine. I could be an emotional tampon because there's no harm in it. It's all fine. But what's actually happening is that you are actually giving that girl attention. And it doesn't matter. Women like attention, negative or positive, and negative attention is actually more tantalizing.
Oh yeah. Shout out to you, Danny. I see you in there. Hoe tactics, like we think of like the girls on OnlyFans are hoes. We think the Insta thoughts, they're doing hoes. And they might well be. They're still reaching for the attention, but the trad wife, the conservative, they're just as hoish too. They're just deploying their hoish ways more covertly. Now, you guys remember last year, right? The infamous Cake Gate.
What was Cake Gate?
Oh, you don't remember?
No.
Isabella
Let's
DeLuca
get a lesson.
and the tits from Cake Gate. Oh, man,
I need a history lesson here.
All right, hold on. Let me just share it with you. So there was this girl named Isabella DeLuca on Twitter. She posted a video of her making a cake. Right?
Oh yes,
but the camera was centered
elsewhere,
directly at the breastises. Now she was very well blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Glenn?
Tracts of land.
Let's just say I have conquered many mountains I have climbed many. She has some big ass titties, man. That's all I gotta say. She has some tickle bitties. Okay, so just wanted me to say
Okay,
that.
all right.
See what
Welcome
he
to
did right
Tiggo Bitties.
He tried to get me to say it. Damn it, Huds. Here we go. Like here's the video. This is the video from her cake gate.
Yeah, got the cross there. Gotta have the cross.
Nobody's paying attention to the damn cake.
What
I got
cake?
something
They
to
are,
share.
but this is
I got
also
something
their
to share
purity
on that.
style.
I mean, I'm definitely paying attention to the milk.
Yeah.
That's about it good.
Yes. Well, you spilled a little bit there, sweetie. Let me lick that off for you.
That's why a real cook would have an apron.
Yeah, where's her?
You can't have an apron.
No,
It'll
that's
cover
what
the
the shit's
city.
for. Gotta get some splatter on it. All right. So, right there. Now she is a conservative. She's, is very conservative on
Self-proclaimed.
Twitter.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, self-proclaiming conservative on Twitter. She goes to all those like TPSU or Elemental P, trad events, and you see her on Fox News every once in a while. But everybody is like, "Yo, she's doing some hoe ass shit,"
And
and
wearing a skin tight shirt. Well,
and,
cooking.
when I first saw this, I'm like, but she's covered up. Like I don't even see like even the top of the areola. Like this, she's covered the things up. Like it's not her fault that she just got some tickle bitties, right? Maybe she's born with that.
Yeah, God gave them to her, right?
Yeah, but she outed herself in the video. If she
Yes.
was actually a baker, she would have had an apron on so she wouldn't
Exactly.
get the splattle all over herself. And the thing is that
Exactly.
that's suggestive in and of itself. It's obvious purity bait for
Yes.
anybody that actually
Purity bait. There it is. Thank you, Viking.
Like kayfabe, right?
Mhm.
So they are using their sexuality that they know that will at least gain men's attention, but it's not so overt to the point where it's like in their face. You just know she's doing it just to show off her titties. They're doing an activity or they're doing something that looks meaningless or harmless, but really they are selling sex.
Mhm.
And that's the
And
key.
it's a
The key
very
phrase
covert
is,
way to do
key
it.
phrase is, Glenn, plausible deniability.
Exactly. And then
Hoes
if you bring it up,
live off of it. Hoes
If you
live
bring it
off of
up-
plausible deniability.
you are the sick fuck who is sexualizing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you see my cross?
Exactly.
Yep. If you point it out, you're the bad guy because
Yeah,
they have
why-
plausible deniability.
Because what
I-
are you
I-
looking at? What are you looking at? Oh, I'm
I-
making the cake here.
I was looking at her
Gross.
cross the whole time.
Like, did you not hear the song? It was sweet, and there was nothing.
All I could focus on was trying to see the amount of shadow underneath her boobs to try and like determine what exactly her boob size was.
Oh, she's
And that's
triple
exactly
D.
what she's trying to do.
She was triple D. Easy.
I know. I would say she's about a good 36 double G
Double G. Okay.
or
You think
E
it's that big?
or E. No, I think they're E's. I think they're about E's.
Do you think they're real?
I have to do the rest of the head test. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, if she's trying to come across as conservative and she had gotten a boob job, well, you're changing the body that God gave you. Ain't that something to think about?
There are plenty of pastors' wives with boob jobs. Let's just not gonna go that far.
I don't know. I don't know if we saw the same video, man. I was watching it and I saw her boobs naked. I saw her areolas. I saw everything, and they're
I don't
real.
know what version you
They're
saw.
absolutely real. Oh,
I don't
that's
know
my
what
good
version you saw.
imagination, but that's my good imagination. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's
it's
the
my
key thing.
fantasy. I can make it whatever I want.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
so-
the key thing is that a lot of people, they conflate the thing about, oh, well, she's covered up. She's completely covered up, yes. But in a shrink wrap package so you can see all the curves and the details. And once again, it doesn't leave much of the imagination. And a lot of people say it's like this. It's like the same bullshit of like, oh, if a girl's people make light of this. If a girl's in a bra and panties, if she's in a fucking bikini, no problem. It's like, but what's the difference? The plausible deniability. Oh, it's a swimsuit, not underwear. But there's no difference, literally, in the outfit other than, oh, it's got lace instead of spandex.
It's so true. But, you know, guys are funny, too. I don't know if you guys ever been to a nudist beach or a nudist park or anywhere like that. When I was
stop it.
when I was in my late teens, no, I was in my early 20s. I went to a place called Black's Beach in San Diego, and you have to park high on a hill. And you have to walk down this cliff, and that's why it's a new beach, is because you know, it's not legal in California, but because it's so hard to get to, everybody can see the cops coming and get their clothes on. So that's why it's kind of a new beach there. But as you park and walk down, you start seeing these guys that are in the cliffs that have covered themselves up in tents and these super telephoto lenses, and you see them in there, and you know they're just being perverts, right? So you get to the bottom, you think, okay, I'm going to wear my swimsuit, you know, and you get down there, and then you see all these people, and I mean all walks of life. You got old people, young people, the college is right there, so you got all these La Jolla co-eds there, and they're all naked, and you're out there mingling, and all of a sudden you feel completely uncomfortable, like you're one of those guys that are up on the hill just being a pervert. So to not feel like a pervert, you go ahead and get naked. Then after a while, as you get comfortable with it, you start realizing, you know, here's this really hot, you know, college freshman that you're talking to that's laying on a towel. She's completely naked, and you're noticing things like her dimples or her earlobes. You're not even paying attention to her being naked. I don't know if it's a subconscious thing, is that you don't want to get caught looking or caught being weird, but it's really strange that I started realizing that once this is gone, you start looking at things like that. And I had a little endeavor going on back then. Me and a friend would go down there on the weekends, and we would carry beer down there, and we'd sell beer down at Black's Beach. We made a killing. But you notice after being there for a while, that's what you do. A pretty girl's walking up on you, you know, you glance at her boobs and her bush, but you start noticing all kinds of other things. And I thought that was a real strange psychology of why we do that. And then I heard a comedian one time that made a joke that we only want to see on a woman what she won't let us see. And it's like the Muslims, you know, the big meme that their wife was showing their ankles, you know, or they got to see some girl's ankle and they got a big boner. Well, the same thing. The comedian made the joke over in Uganda. You know what turns them on then? It's the little part of their lip that's right under their nose when they take that plate out that you get a look up. That's like the most erogenous zone to them to look at, because that's what we want to see. We want to see what they don't let us see. So the whole point I was getting at with the nudist thing is that, quite honestly, dressing provocatively is a lot more provocative than being naked. And that's something to do with us. We because we're using our imagination. When we're looking at something, the point I was making when I was looking at her, I saw her naked because that's what my mind wanted to see. That's what makes it provocative, is we get our mind going, and we know the greatest sexual organ of all is our mind.
Yep. And so this made me bring up the thought as I'm reading this like book here about hoe tactics. There's an online element to this, right? And they are, as I mentioned on Twitter about the Twitter thing, we have hoe tactics being deployed in the most things, areas that we would not expect. Like in our spaces, women love coming in our spaces. They come in our spaces and they advocate for our points of view. They show that, like, men, we are with you too. We want men like you. We want men like you, men. Yeah, you guys, you hardworking, manly men, non-man bun having men. We want you. We're all the real men at, and guys are like, hey,
Glenn, what are
she
you
gets us.
talking about? What are you talking about? These people that are infiltrating the space, like they're not trying to do any of that. Well, it's such a good example of exactly what you're talking about. Like, come on, guys. Just
And it's not just like her. I mean, even how many single mommies are on YouTube?
Too many.
They're grifting off of, like, hey, I am this. I'm talking about this. I'm bringing up these topics, right? There's a lot of single mommies out there that are appealing to men, and they don't. These guys don't even realize that they're deploying a hoe tactic. They're not using anything sexual to get you invested in them, and they are getting you to be a sponsor for their lifestyle. See, these hoes actually have 3 categories. They'll drop you in 3 categories. You are the treat, right? That means somebody that's like a foodie date. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is their words, not mine. All right. You got the treat. You got the trick. The trick would do like small, like small ticket items. Oh, let me help you out getting your oil changed, or let me help you out with this, right? Then you got the sponsors. The sponsors are the ones that are invested. The sponsors are the ones that sign up for that YouTube membership, right? Or that private Discord, for the low price of, $39.99, right? And they get you hooked. And now you are sponsoring this lifestyle for them. That's where they want to get you. Now, they're not selling sex. They're selling the image of the woman that you would want to desire, that they know that they are not. But
so
illusion.
Glenn, have you seen this in person at any of your churches?
I see a lot of them. Mm-hmm. There are hoes everywhere.
So what?
I live in the hoe zone layer.
So this is a common framework, Mike. That I wanted to talk about this because a lot of guys don't recognize the death by 1,000 concessions. They think it starts once they're in the relationship. No, it starts before they get in the relationship. And if you give up enough ground, that's how beta males, air quotes, get into these relationships. They make enough concessions for the girl to tolerate them. And that's what makes them the placeholder boyfriend that Rolo talks about. The thing is that if you actually are good at setting boundaries, you're going to lose a lot of girls because they're trying to finesse you. And that's why a lot of guys will not cut girls off that are fishing for attention. They don't understand that that's the first concession that you're giving up, is you're giving up free attention. That's why Myron shouts all the time, no fucking free attention. But I see guys in this space over and over again giving tons of free attention to girls, and they don't realize it's already started.
It's the currency of the realm and girl world. But so Glenn, shout out to the Sims. So Glenn, what are some of the things you've seen them do in church? Because it doesn't have to be in church. I'm talking about more like before we even get to the church, let's just talk about like our everyday life. Sure.
Most of us are creators on this space, and we would say, okay, we know that like Nala Ray, the infamous OnlyFans content creator, big time hoe. There's plenty of facials that showcase that, right? Nala Ray, the reformed, born again virgin. We see people on the right be like, hey, don't be calling her hoe no more. She's reformed. No, she's still a hoe. She's just hoeing a different way. She's still getting the attention, but she sure no. Why did she need to feel the need to share anything? Now that she's married, she's wifed up, like, shouldn't her attention be on the man who saved her from getting all the facials?
And her children.
Right?
Yeah.
So these hoes are transitioning from, hoeing and blowing to giving their opinions and, dumb stuff on YouTube, trying to give you dating advice, relationship advice. You know, they should, if they're going to be doing any type of podcast, let's just say these hoes should be talking about how to like not have a gag reflex or something, not how to, you know, make your marriage work, because it's not consistent with them. But the fact that they're using our talking points, they're using talking points that guys are concerned about, and that guys worry about, that are important to guys, and they are drawing you in. And then guess what? These women are having men, even married men, finance their lifestyle. That's right. There's the chapter in this book where it says, make her man your ATM, where it has entirely nothing to do with sex, but leaning on the fact that you find them interesting, or you think that they're supporting your cause, and now you're invested. And you're invested to the point where you're saying, man, we need more women like her. I'm going to finance her. I'm going to super chat her. I'm going to send her money because maybe she will influence other women. But women are not watching her.
Yep.
Right.
Who's watching
99%
her?
men.
And this
Men.
goes back to another problem that a lot of these, you know, quote, blue pill men have. And what is that? Oh, they're not actually getting their, you know, all these women complain about, oh, their emotional needs aren't met. But a lot of these women in these relationships, because they're following a bad man, are not seeking to fulfill his emotional needs. So what do? They try to cope, and they step outside. That's why a lot of these guys get OnlyFans and stuff like that, because they're trying to get that emotional connection with a feminine woman. That's why they like to watch those videos with the plausible deniability too. Like, oh, hey, it's not a matter of that it's her tits. She's baking a cake. You know, so they end up falling for the plausible deniability framework as well. Like, oh, well, it's no big deal because she's fully covered.
I find this whole thing so interesting because I want to share something else with you guys as well, that we were just talking about in my men's group today, because it really is bizarre. Nobody ever tells you this. Like, it wasn't until getting deeper into the space and growing up more that I realized the covertness that actually goes on. So, for example, let's take this here. From this image, this is now they're doing it on Facebook Marketplace. So she's selling this 2012 car. Message to agree on price or car swap. Very good condition, limited edition. Never had any issues with the car. Just wants something different. And then my buddy, he sent another photo afterwards from this. Let me see. There we go. Photographing something you want to show everyone. For males, it's what you want to show. For females, look at me as a part of it. Look at me. Look at me. It's this fucking attention grabbing.
That's perfect. That is actually perfect, because this whole thing, it literally contradicts the feminist and the whole advertisers programmed you to like hot women in cars. It's just like, but what is this woman doing right here in the modern day, when we've supposedly done away with all those conventions, and that was all just social programming? But here she is putting her ass in front of the car as the primary focus.
But
why?
see,
because sex sells.
No, see, what that does to me is when I see this, I'm like, okay, what dent or hole is in the car that she's covering up with her
Dude,
body?
that's literally dead ass. That's literally the first comment. She's covering up a dent.
Yep. But see,
It's
once
insane.
again, sex sells. And she's going to get at least a lot of attention from people looking to, you know, like, oh, maybe I might buy this car so I might be able to smash. That's literally these dudes they'll do that. Once again, somebody made a comment: weak-minded men with lots of resources. Exactly.
I just find it fascinating because it's like something that we're not really taught. You have to like see or have somebody else like point it out to you. And I feel bad for these weak men that end up getting, I guess, consumed by it without realizing what they're doing.
Well, it's not just weak men. Strong men get game too. I mean, we could even consider and say that, you know, to some extent, Fresh, you know, fell victim of Daisy's tactics, right?
Mhm.
He entertained her even just a little bit enough to where she was able to deploy the game that she tried to play on him.
But
right?
it was
Well, I mean,
it was
to
his
be
knowledge of intersexual dynamics that allowed him to bounce back and
Yes.
recover in a way that most men couldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people gloss over the fact he cut her off a month
Yes,
prior to
and
that.
I'm not. It's nothing. It's the fact. It's the fact that he entertained her to begin with because she played on him on the things that he was already looking at. You know, and it. So it's almost like saying this, and it's sad to have to say it this way, but it's like I had a debate recently about if body count matters, right? And Nuke, our good friend Nuke, says like just assume that all women are promiscuous. If you assume all women are promiscuous, then you already know that like the value of vagina, pussy value drops, right? If all women are promiscuous, then there's no it's a dime a dozen, right? There's many of them. Now, if guys that don't have that mentality, that think women are virtuous, and these women are not showing sex, they're not pushing sex like covert or overtly, they are pushing the idea of relationship in the future. They want to get to know you long term, they're vetting you as you're like they're vetting or you're vetting them, or at least they give you the impression that they're vetting you, right, for this long-term relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a game. The idea for them is like, okay, we don't want to be hoes. We don't want to risk like all the sexual STDs or to be known and have a high body count, but we want to be around these guys. How do we make ourselves interesting enough to where that these guys want us to keep us around? And
let's talk about the stuff they talk about.
Let's even care about the things that they talk about. After a while, yeah, they're probably pointing out, yeah, we don't like these OnlyFans girls either. They probably don't. But they're playing on
right.
the fact
They're true about that. There's competition. A lot of guys forget. Yeah, they're gonna side against those other girls because they're competition.
Hi, my name's Becky, and I've totally been into Warhammer 40K for the last 3 years.
I don't even know what Warhammer 40 what is. What is that?
It's what Rolo does. And AJ, the figurines and the tabletop gaming, and in other words,
nerd stuff, Glenn. Nerd stuff.
Yeah, nerd stuff, Glenn. But in other words, woman assumes the hobby of men in order to bag a man, and then as soon as she bags her man, she drops interest in that hobby, and then criticizes the man for being into it so much.
And so, the important thing here is, this should make men want to double or like up their level of vetting. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys need to have higher standards, and a lot of this would actually be, not even able to really affect guys if guys actually had higher standards. Guys typically only have one standard. She has a pulse, and she touched my pee-pee.
Mm-hmm.
They have a chapter in here called dick control. Now, I didn't realize women had to worry about dick control. I thought only the T's had to worry about having dick control in this case. But women have to worry about dick control and dick discipline as well. Because if they fall for the guy and they give him, now they're stuck. They lose their leverage once they have sex.
Yeah, they don't want to get dickmatized. They
Exactly.
get dickmatized and the game's over.
Briar, you play 40 whatever hammers?
How do you not know where Warhammer is? It's like Dungeons and Dragons.
He knows.
It's
He's just
style
goofing.
things.
Wasn't Warhammer like the UFC, like the fighting shirt? Didn't they have like the war?
Yeah, Glenn definitely is just fucking with us right now.
Yeah, it's okay, Glenn.
Love you, Glenn.
Fuck you, Tarl.
I remember we went over this one day. AJ literally showed you the figures. I don't forget, Glenn.
Okay, the figurines that you made. I thought that was Dungeons and Dragons.
No, that's Warhammer.
Is it like that? Anyways, you guys are
Two
retarded.
games.
You guys are
Two
both
games.
nerds. All you are nerds.
Don't worry about it, Glenn.
Do you
That's
just want to
what
talk
it
about
is.
Legos instead?
No, let's not talk about Lego. That's your game. That's Lego game.
So you're in filmmaking, Glenn, so you understand about at least a little bit about the special effects and model making part of things, and that's where a lot of these games comes from. Is it plays into that industry. So
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like if you think about it, but now we're talking about nerd shit, and we need to move back. Yeah, moving on. So these women are gonna use these new tactics, or not. It's not even new tactics. These are all old tactics. Nothing's new under the sun, but it's just a different way that they're deploying them. Before they were leaning a lot into sex, pushing how sexual they are, how nymphomaniac they are, and they just, want to find the right guy, and you're thinking that's you. But now they're not leading on that so much. They're still using sex, but that's not their number one weapon. The number one weapon is your interest. They want to care about what you care about. So if you're worried about the dating market or the marriage rate or how left the culture has gone, they're going to care about it too.
So Glenn, have you seen like MAGA grifting gals? Is that one of the tactics that they've been deploying?
I'll say this. We see a lot of women pushing marriage, telling men that they should. No, marriage is a beautiful thing. Candace Owens, she pushes marriage. Candace Owens, in my opinion, is a feminist that just doesn't like abortion. And we have to realize these hoes they're just as feminist as the feminists are, but they just wear red and vote for Trump.
Now, you know what? I will push back on you. I do not believe that Candace Owens is being a hoe. I don't think it's hoe tactics.
No, she already graduated. She's top hoe. She married.
She said she's a feminist, not a hoe.
Yeah, I didn't say she's a hoe.
Right. But I'm just saying when we're talking about the tactics, like AOC is a prime example of using looks to get what she wants. I don't think that Candace really does that.
You don't have to use looks. It's talking points. See, one of the tactics that these women use is called like over prattle, power prattle, right? It's where they just talk a lot.
Solid.
Yeah. And they get you to invest. You're just listening to them, right? And why? Okay, if you're not with them, you're not banging them, if you're not, trying to date them, why are you listening to them complain about their day, what's going on with their life? And you're just sitting there. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's what they're doing is it's a like a shit test to a degree. How invested is this man who is gaining nothing from me really is? Is he willing to listen to everything I got to say, log on, watch my stream without anything in return? Actually, I get to garner more from him because not only is he going to listen to me, but can I get him to support me? Support my prattle. So
does he really have respect for his own time? And if he doesn't, how much more can I get out of him?
Exactly.
Yeah, because what Glenn's getting at is, well, if Candace was so tradcon, number one, why does she need other men's money from like YouTube advertisement and super chats? Because her husband's rich, so she shouldn't need all that. And then why is she posting online anyway? If she were a true tradcon, we wouldn't even know who Candace Owens was.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
No. I disagree. I disagree about that. I think that Candace fundamentally does align with these values, and she enjoys having that discourse. I think she.
Let me just say this: there's no such thing as tradcon, traditional conservative women anymore. Okay. If you want to date a tradcon, my grandmother's 96. She's at the old folks home. That's your last generation of tradcons. We have tradcon lights that want to present this tradcon, worldview, but none of these women are making butter. None of these women are not just giving their kids a tablet and letting their kids just watch some, program on Nick Jr. or whatever. No, they're on here. And they're telling you how trad they are.
Yeah, and Candace is traditional. She was very woke, but she got woken up when she started to, trying to be independent like they tell her to, but then she's not allowed to do the things she's told that she's allowed to do. She's like, well, this is hypocrisy. They're full of shit. So that's what woke her up. But she's a strong, independent, modern woman, air quotes around all that, right? That's what she was and is. But she woke up and she has a genuine respect for more traditional values now. And that's why Glenn makes a good observation that, she's very feminist, but she doesn't like the abortion part of it because she understands the reality of biology.
I would say, you know what? Allie Beth Stuckey is another one. and she leans way more on the religious, the Christian side of things, but she is just as feminist as the purple-haired chick at Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody's a feminist because the basic thing about feminism is should women be able to vote. So if you don't have a problem with women voting, you're technically a feminist by definition. But there's all the other shit stacked on top of it over the last like 200 years. Because people forget, like, this shit doesn't go back to the 60s. This shit goes back to like the 1700s and shit like that. This is like a tale as old as time. That's why I make the assertion that feminism is always going to be a thing, a pushback against any system that doesn't allow them to go for the best of the best. And unfortunately, as much as it's good for society, having monogamous relationships where everybody gets one wife and she can't get with the chaddest of the chads to get the best genes for the next generation, women are always going to push back against that because they're the ones that choose the next generation. That's why only 40% of all males throughout human history have reproduced. That means 60% of motherfuckers got singled out by women. That's why when Myron says most women don't like most men, there's the proof.
So I want to pull this. I'm going to pull this one up here because based on your framework, Glenn, would you say that Pearl's a feminist?
Well, didn't Tara already tell you that all women are feminists?
Well, no, he said everybody who believes
most men are now too.
But
the thing is, most people agree with feminism. That's at the core values of feminism. There isn't an issue with it. The issue is all the other bullshit that was shoehorned and shoveled in under the carpet. And once again, the manipulation tactics, right?
You're
pretending
a feminist.
To be persuasion.
I'm a feminist. Pearl's a feminist. We all have some level of feminism in our programming.
There we go.
So that would make us all feminists. But I wanted to point out what Terry was saying here. And shout out to Terry, been on her channel. She's cool people. She's a feminist. No, I'm kidding. She's like, there's no strong women. There's no strong women, only weak men. And that really is the problem. I like that element there is that we have weakened men, and men have been weakened to fall for these tactics, these little tricks that they do to get you to invest in them. And we're seeing now that we live in more of a digital world than we ever have before. Okay, most of the time people are meeting or talking when people are on like this. There's all these different platforms or all these different like chat rooms or video calls. Just we're in it, and these women are now adopting climate or the current technology and the culture that we live in and finding different ways to deploy these old but very necessary tactics of hoedom on men. And we just don't think of it the same thing. We don't think of the girl that's on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever that's dressed attractively, that's appealing to the eye, but could be talking about the leftists as bad people, right? We don't see her as a hoe. We don't think of her as deploying hoe tactics. We think of her as good girl, wifey type, and then now that kind of gets you hooked on them, and now you're consuming their content. Now you are not only consuming their content, you're investing in it by sending in super chats, or you are signing up for their Discord, or you're just trying to, you're supporting them. Your time, your effort, your resources are supporting these women, which they may be giving out a good message, but the message is not necessarily what they're really trying to push. It's to garner your attention and your investment and not really change anything.
Yeah, it comes down to a lot of the content creators. Like, are you giving practical information, whether it's advice or descriptions? It doesn't matter. Like, are you giving information that measures to reality, that matches reality? And is it useful to people? That's the question. Or are you just regurgitating things and more or less complaining about the problem? Because that's the thing. A lot of people in this space will complain about the problems, but they won't offer any sort of perspective that helps you solve problems. That was one of the issues that I had with many different spaces. Because like I said, I used to be what most people would consider a progressive leftist, right? But what happened? I always err on the side of truth. So the more information I get, the more refined my positions become. And I compartmentalize it. I don't try to group things together and be like, well, because I have this one political view, now I can't hold this political view because those people that mostly talk about those things agree with these things. It's like you're falling into groupthink then. It needs to come down to the context and the nuance of each situation. And I know that takes a lot of mental effort. Oh, that's a lot of work, Viking. Fuck your feelings. That's how you solve problems, is using your goddamn brain.
We're men. We're designed either by the universe or by God, however you look at it, to work.
Yeah, we have to solve problems. And if we're bad at solving problems, we suffer. If we're good at solving problems, life gets easier, relatively speaking. Like, people wonder, you know, I've like kind of been jealous of me about things in the past I found out through the grapevine. And it comes down to they thought that I had somehow I had it easy. I've never had it easy. I've had it extremely difficult. I make it easy through effort and hard work. And
Yes,
that's
sir.
when people see me winning. They're like, oh yeah, he must have cheated. No, motherfucker. I went through the fucking trenches and came out the other side and brushed myself off. And
Because
now
they
you're
didn't
like,
see your 99 failures. They only see your one success because you move in
Exactly.
silence.
well, and this happens with my own woman too. I make things look easier for her, right? So and going back to the comment before, it's just like, yeah, there aren't truly strong women typically. Women are very insecure. But if they follow a strong man, a truly strong man, like, I empower my woman. I make her challenge herself. And when she rises to that challenge, she's always thanking me over and over again, like, oh, I didn't think I could do it. And I'm just like, yeah. And who believed in you? I did. Right? Other people just tell her, oh, just give up. Oh, it doesn't matter. You're just a woman. No, I'm telling her, no, I've seen what you can do. I think you can do that. And I think you should. And I want you to. And because I tell her that, then she does it. And then she's like super happy and impressed with herself. And guess what? I empowered that woman. Oh no. Red pill guy, fail, right? Oh my.
Now we've got some super chats here. We want to thank everyone for stopping by the Dragonship today. It's been a long time since H0E has been here or has hosted, and the city is burning down around him as we speak, but he is braving those flames to bring us
Listen, somebody
his
has
message
to do
today.
it. I'm doing this for you. I'm here dying from the smoke everywhere for you guys.
Yeah,
okay?
he's on a generator, he's on Starlink, and he's probably going to die today. And so as his last act on this earth, he is bringing you this valuable knowledge. So we want to thank him for that. Now, someone who is not here today, Paul, for reasons, is he has a new book out. He has a great new book, and this book is specifically for men and LTRs and marriage. Has your bedroom dried up? Has she stopped giving you the Glock? Has she gone into starfish mode? Well, Paul has a brand new book to help you out with
way
that.
too good.
Paul's got a brand new book to help you out with that. Here it is.
Are you tired of the dead bedroom? Wondering what happened to the passion, the connection, and the spark? Well, here's your answer. Introducing Get Her to Fuck You Again, a red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom, now on Amazon. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about real strategies that work. If your wife has stopped being intimate with you, it's not because the love is gone. It's because the attraction is gone. And that's fixable. This book will teach you the skills to lead your marriage, rebuild your confidence, and become the man she can't stop thinking about. 3 reasons to get this book. 1. It breaks the cycle. You'll learn how to stop doing the same things that are killing her attraction and start doing the things that reignite it. 2. It's practical and proven. With clear, actionable steps, you'll build yourself into the man you were always meant to be. 3. It works for men like you. Paul Bauer has helped hundreds of men just like you fix their dead bedrooms. And now, it's your turn. Don't let another day go by feeling frustrated and disconnected. Go to Amazon right now and buy Get Her to Fuck You Again. Read it, apply it, and watch your marriage transform. The connection isn't gone forever. You just need the roadmap to get it back. And this book is it.
Like this. And
if you look like this and you happen to be struggling with women, and if you like bubble baths and some other gay stuff, it's probably because you use body wash like Metro by Resto Chesto, the most anti-masculine body wash in the world. So if you're tired of being confused for a homo, then I suggest that you use Tactical Soap from Grondike Soap Company. It's a game changer. That's right, a natural pheromone soap that enhances alpha status, masculinity, attractiveness, and charisma. Only Tactical Soap could take you from zero to a hero with the ladies. If you want to get successful with the ladies like yours truly, Glenn Lawrence, then I suggest that you order right now and get your own Tactical Soap from Grondike Soap Company today. Grondike Soap Company cannot guarantee that you will get a brunette and a blonde in the hot tub with you like Glenn Lawrence, but you may get a redhead.
Good ad.
That's great. I love that, Glenn. I have used Tactical Soap before, and I can confirm that it does work. Women will bury their faces into my neck and inhale deeply. They love it.
I use it because it's just good soap and it doesn't have a bunch of additives in it.
Yep, no
I
additives.
love the
like a good
soy
natural
boy
soap. The
free
pheromones,
soap.
I'll be honest. I'll be completely transparent. I don't care about the pheromone bullshit at all. And
Yeah.
it's not bullshit.
Yeah.
It actually does have a subconscious effect, not an overt effect. But once again, I digress. It's good soap.
No, it's great soap. I love it. I love working with them, and it's fun because like they lean on the whole masculinity alpha thing. So like it's fun to like make jokes about it. And actually, I made this video. This was for last night. I did like a super chat war with my friend Resto Chesto, and he's like the most like Metro guy I know. So I just like I'm just gonna lean in and just like make fun of him. It's kind of like that one Huds. You know the one I'm talking about? You know,
I do know the one you're talking about.
You know, like I helped Huds before. You know, like I increased his dating clientele list.
No, you didn't. You just confused the message to my entire audience.
What are you talking about? Didn't you get more people
from
hitting you
that ad.
up?
No, I didn't.
Oh, come on.
We gotta get that one. Pull that one up because I'd love to share that with people if they haven't seen it in a while.
I actually have it. Let me grab it. It's really the service that Huds provides.
Vidar, welcome in. Brother of Thor, son of Odin.
Like literal brother of Thor.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Great to have you. While you're finding that, Glenn, let's go ahead and Mike, if you could read out the super chats. I want to acknowledge those that have acknowledged us. We very much appreciate you.
Danny Arnold with the $5 super chat. Are you sure their book is called Ho Tactics? Are you sure she isn't called the Ho-Rum?
Yeah, I put you in a trap. I wasn't going to read this because I don't know what I'm trying to read.
Like what?
Ho-Rom-nomicon?
Like the
Ho-Rom-nom-
Necronomicon, the Ho-Ron-nomicon. Okay. Bound in human skin. We won't say from where if it's for hose.
Okay.
All right, Danny Arnold. Work on the pun better next time, my brother. And and now Wrongful Rage, he donated $10 back to back, which equals $20, which means he gets something very, very special. Thank you, Wrongful Rage. Here you go.
Thank you for the super chats. Boobies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
So, first, with the $10 super chat from Wrongful Rage, false virtue is the worst. However, you'll never know if it's false if you don't test it. In other words, ask good questions early so you're not terribly upset later. Worldview matters. Yes, it does. For example, I have met gals who claim to be Christian and they have terrible values, and I have met gals who are either atheist or agnostic.
Are you having?
I have also met gals.
Calm down, Glenn. We'll get to it after.
You guys don't have it set to where
He's
you.
prepping it. Yeah. And I have also met gals who are either atheist or agnostic who have good values. So, I mean, we've all heard of that Christian stereotype of the person who pretends to be Christian and is really a terrible person, like gossiping behind people's backs and backstabbing at church and stuff like that. That's an example of bad values. So just because they say they're a Christian and their dress goes to their ankles, that doesn't mean crap if they treat everybody else like shit. So very good point to bring up there. And then thank you, Wrongful Rage with the $10 super chat. Wait, you listen when they're prattling? Fuck! I just skim to the end and say damn or okay, and usually works out. Yes, the nothing box.
No. What you do? You just go like this. Oh shit! Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yo, girl.
Yeah.
I listen to everything they say because they snitch on themselves left and right when they do that shit.
It's true. That's true. They do deploy a lot of their own. They just give you so many details. Like the best thing that you do for let a woman talk. Let them talk about themselves.
Yeah.
Even when you're on a first date, you want to don't ask them questions about them. Don't talk about you. Talk about them. They love it. One, because they're the center of the attention. But two, you actually get to know who they really are.
Yeah.
But you got to ask interesting questions. So, like, for example, like those types of things. If you could pack up right now, you could just stop your job and do whatever you want and go wherever you want, and money didn't matter. What would you do? And then when you start to get that imagination flowing, exactly as Vidar said, it's the main sex organ.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. Tiki Tack with the $10 super chat. I'm starting a competing line called Tactical Soap. Okay.
Tiki Tack, are you offering sponsorship? All right. Okay. I will get behind you, sir, in this product. But we gotta sell it like cool.
It's got to be very awesome. And our last super chat from our usual Siege D with the $2 super chat. Mike Steele and Mike Sartain in that X space was fire. The most fire that ever was. I promise you. Thank you very much, Siege. Yes, that was pretty cool. I did hop onto an X space with Mike Sartain and Rolo for a little bit, and I did offer up a small disagreement. But then Rolo taught me a concept that I hadn't heard before. It was the concept of tripping over your own dick. And it was I made the mistake of putting me with girls, not on my IG, but on my dating profile. And so the responses I would get from women who were matching with me was, hey, so like, are you even single? Or I would have 3 pictures with girls and they were all redheads. One was a married stand-up comedian. Another one was a model who's a friend of Donovan. And another one was just a random gal. And so I actually ended up disqualifying myself because the brunette that had matched with me said, well, it looks like you have a type. So, okay, thanks, bye.
The competition.
You were over. Hold on 1 second. You were over validating yourself, which doesn't look good.
Yep. And so that was a mistake I was making, and Rolo called it tripping over my own dick. And so I've taken those off my dating profile, and I do leave them on Instagram. So if the gal stalks me on Instagram and she starts seeing me with a bunch of chicks, it is what it is. But that was not my first foot forward.
Yeah, women are good if you're trying to get the women interested in your lifestyle. But if you're trying to get them interested in a relationship, having that many women, especially those sort of attractive women around you, most of those average women online or in those dating apps are going to look at it and be like, you got the pushback, you know, like, well, I guess I'm not your type, because there's look at it and they're like, oh, that competition is way too fierce. I'm not competing with that.
Yes. Now, Glenn, you did have a part 2 to your tactical soap.
Oh no, it's not the tactical soap. This is what made Huds' business boom.
Oh,
yes. This promo right here put him on the map. Just watch. Are you gay and looking for love? Are you having a hard time? Are you wanting to find meaningful connections? Not just guys that want to pull their pants down, show you their Johnson, and make you suck their dick while you're trying to read a book? You find yourself striking out at your local gay watering hole? Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, and nobody just seems to be interested in your gay ass? You should contact the Hudsman, the dating coach for the gays, Philly's best. So if you want to end up like these carpet munchers who got married, or these Peter Puffers who got married and living their happily gay after, then you need to reach out to the Hudsman, guaranteed Philly's best gay dating coach just for you.
Hey, I like Glenn's sense of humor, but yeah, it didn't help my messaging. I can help gay people, but I typically am working with guys that are straight.
Don't you go to gay clubs?
No.
I do love gay clubs.
See? Right there. The homos right there.
Hey, gay clubs are the best, like truly, especially when you're like at end of night, because the girls are hanging out with a bunch of their gay friends, a bunch of feminine energy throughout the night, and then you come in and you just clean up.
It's true.
I'm just saying.
What?
I had a conversation.
What are you cleaning up?
You're cleaning up.
So Glenn, I got some game here from the 90s. Well, it's showing my age a little bit. So I have one piercing. That's my left.
I don't want to
ear.
know where it is.
Is it a Prince
really
Albert?
No, it's my left. It's no. It's my don't. Do you see? You guys are dirty as fuck. It's my left ear, but there's a reason why.
Well,
in the 90s, in the club scene, there was a coding thing, which was if you had both ears pierced as a man, it meant you were bi. If you had your right ear pierced, it meant you were gay. If you have your left ear pierced, it meant you're straight. So you can walk into a club as a straight man, and this was told to me by a gay man, and I confirm this. And they may approach you and hit on you, but then they're going to notice your piercing and they're going to ask like, "Oh, you don't swing for our team, honey, do you?" and shit like that. And you just be like, "Nope." And they know, once again, like Hud said, there's girls that go there because they don't want to get hit on by a ton of guys. So you can actually have a pick of the litter of a lot of attractive women in these gay clubs. You're just going to have to deal with getting hit on a few times, probably.
Well, joke's on you, Tarl. Your gay friend told you the opposite ear to troll you.
That's not true.
I was going to say I've already confirmed. I've had gay guys hit on me.
It's a conspiracy. It's a gay conspiracy. They've told us all the wrong ear on purpose. It's like the moon landing. They're all in cahoots together.
Nope. I was in a kink club one time and I got hit on and he was very disappointed.
Wait, was it hold on. Was it a gay you just said a guy hit on you? Was it a gay kink club?
No. It was a BDSM club. So,
go on with your story. Sorry.
No, I was done. I was just saying. I was confirming.
I don't think we want him to.
I was confirming this is a little bit of trivia from the 90s about the club scene and stuff like that, and this is still somewhat applicable today.
It was from the 80s also.
Yep.
You know, it kind of reminds me of like this other like little commercial thing that I made for Resto about like his spring break event that he's planning on doing.
Well,
it's pretty bad.
Well, if we may, since Vidar is now officially here, Vidar, can we get some of your input on these non-obvious hoe tactics like Glenn has been talking about? What have you seen? Because you're a wizened sage. You've been around, judging by your beard. So what have you seen in your life where these gals do things to garner attention, but not overtly?
Did you just call him old as fuck, Mike?
Yes.
What's wrong with you?
Yes.
That's rude.
No, it's a compliment. When you live a long time, it means you've conquered many things. You're
Like-
muted, Vidar.
Stop being rude.
Right,
Man.
that's all right. I am old as fuck. I was having a little feedback on my mic, so I missed part of your question. I think I got it figured out now. Is there any feedback going on?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. So what did you say?
Basically, with all we've talked about, now that you've joined us officially, in the first half of the show, in your many years conquering many things, what have you seen from the gals that's this kind of these hoe tactics that are not overtly sexual?
Oh, I think hoe tactics I know probably go back to the beginning of time, and I think they're all inherently, maybe not overtly sexual, but sex sells. They don't even have to be sexual, and in our mind, we're going to go there. How many of you guys have heard or thought that if
if you knew what you knew now and you came back as a woman, you'd be a millionaire. I know I would. I know how men think, and I know how I could manipulate them and get all kinds of money. Well, some women do know that. I think there is a divine womanhood where they're all connected together, and somehow they all seem to inherently know how to use their femininity.
But there's a difference, right, between using it to get a man versus get the attention and resources of many men.
Oh, absolutely, that's true. That's absolutely true. But you know, I mean, I've heard all the arguments that all women are have a price. I won't say prostitutes, but all women have a price, and some are just it's a more expensive price than others. Some you have to marry. There's the ones that are bad that I would call the hoe tactics are the ones that do have a manipulation in mind. There was a definition given of these hoes earlier saying that, you know, streetwalkers or prostitutes. I watched a program with pimps that were talking about how and what they do with women to make them hoes. And these are the real streetwalker hoes. And what they teach them to do is to manipulate men to get the most money with having to do the least. Where they'll get them to where they can get just a little bit of money, and 30 minutes later, boom, they're done. If they can get the guy to get off that quick, or if they can keep manipulating to get more money and then get the guy frustrated where he finally kicks her out of the car without doing anything, and she's got that money in her hand, the pimp's all the happier.
Yeah.
So he knows, the pimps know the manipulation. Well, there's some women that know this too, and there are women that will dangle that in front of you. I think it was talking about early on with the hoe tactics, dangling in front of you. Hey, you do this, I'm gonna give you some. See,
it's the implication of it, or at least like they don't even have to tell you that they will do that because they don't want you to call them out and call them a liar. But they will allude to that might be the thing. They're not going to tell you no out front.
Yeah. It's the implications. It's kind of like they're preying on the part. There's a famous scene from the Dumb and Dumber movie where he goes, "So you're saying there's a chance?" Like it's literally that's the mechanism that's in literally men's brain.
That's literally what they say on. It says right here, never tell them no, but tell them things like,
"We'll see.
We'll see." You're definitely proving. You're definitely showing me that you're the guy that I could, do that with. It's always this future, potential. It's there. It's within fingertips. You're grasping it.
That's part of the manipulation. Hey, I just saw someone, Briar Wolf had commented in the comments here that if you're serious about a woman, get to know their mother. And that's so funny. After my first marriage, I realized that you want to meet their mother because that's who she's going to turn into.
Yeah, and I need to say this on that point. We always talk about, okay, she's going to turn into her mother, but we're always focused on how she's going to age. Pay attention to, if she's going to turn into her mother, how she's going to act.
Exactly.
How her mother treats her father.
That too.
Yeah,
absolutely. My first wife turned exactly into her mother. Like I said, I'm telling you, it was a manipulation with me from day one. I'm very highly sexual. She gave me all I wanted until our wedding night, and that was the last time.
Oh my God.
And so I spent 5 years through my sexual prime in a very much sex deprived marriage. And I went completely crazy afterwards. But I told myself, first of all, I was never going to get married again. And then I decided, well, if I was going to get married again, I wanted to meet her mother. And my wife, the woman I'm with now, and I couldn't ask for a better woman. She was exactly what I had set out to get. And anyway, when I met her at the gym, before we had ever dated, she had brought her mother into the gym, and I looked at her mother, and her mother was drop dead gorgeous, thin, beautiful. So I got this big smile on my face. We hadn't dated, we hadn't said anything about dating at this point. There was just some heavy flirting going on. So when I walked him out to the car, she came over to me and she said, "You better just decide right now which one you want, because we don't play that game." And I started smiling even bigger because she just gave herself away that she liked me. And I told her, I said, that's not why I'm smiling. I know who I want. And you know, you've got some good genetics. So a funny little story there. But
that can be a lot harder nowadays, especially as you get older, because what I've noticed is most gals are very far from their parents, especially here in Vegas. Their parents are thousands of miles away.
yeah, it's
I think
true.
that's based,
It's a completely
it's based on
different
your
time now.
area. Yeah.
Well, and there's other things you can get implications from, like listening to the girl talk about how she talks about her family and stuff like that. Whether or not she's telling you the truth doesn't matter. Just what she says and being able to sort through that. If you understand some of the context, you can put pieces together, right? The same way that a girl is going to put puzzle pieces together to figure you out, you can put puzzle pieces together to figure the girl out. You don't have to have the exact information. You just need to find out how to pick up on the pieces.
I want to hit on this, like, since we're in this content creation space, and this is where I see it the most when it comes to these whole tactics that are the most like covertly done. This girl writes this chapter, right? The chapter in Hoe Tactics, chapter 16 is literally called "On the Side, Making Her Man Your ATM."
Oof.
So now, not many of you are gonna know a bunch of hoes in person, and you're not gonna pay these hoes in person, right? That's dumb. Most guys won't do that, unless they're actually really banging them and they're paying for a service. But how can a woman get money from someone else's man without sexual interest? Well, they deploy a few different interesting tactics that most women don't do. They're comfortable with this situation. They're comfortable with you being married. A lot of female content creators are comfortable with that. Most of their male audience are married men that are, have kids, have a wife, but these women listen to them, right? These women listen to them. Not only do they listen to them, they also they find out what problems you have with women, or maybe your wife or your girlfriend, right? And they're like, "Oh, she doesn't do that for you? Oh, I would totally do that for my man."
Yeah.
And then it's like, why don't women? I don't understand why women just don't do that. Like, they should do that for the men if they want to keep, maintain their relationship. And so now after they extract the information that they need, because the information that you're telling that your wife doesn't do or your woman doesn't do are part of the things that you're yearning for, that you wish that she really did do. And then this woman is making it seem like she does that effortlessly. That like if she just had the man in her life, she would just do that all the time. And now you're getting hooked. She's getting her hooks in on you. And even though it's all platonic, she's not even talking anything sexual to you or not even selling sex to you. She's selling that I advocate for you. I want what you want. And then you finally actually support her in the sense, but she also proves that she has the ability to take you to the edge. It's not sexual. It's just that agreeableness, right? I want to do that. I support this. I advocate for men's rights too. I believe that women shouldn't vote too, right? Like now you're like, oh yeah, this is wifey. Even though you can know that you're never going to get with her, she's playing on the fantasy. She's playing on your fantasy that you have in your mind.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Glenn. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It's really interesting how these like female content creators they do that research, they learn about what guys are yearning for, and then they go ahead and say that, yet they don't have that or are not doing that in their own personal life. When they talk about like taking care of the man and things like that, a lot of times they're saying that like you should expect this, and it's because girls like to sabotage each other because everybody wants the best. So they are drawing your attention and your money, saying that, oh yeah, like this is what should be going on. This is what I do for my man. Yet they don't even have a man.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they don't have a man, they have men.
Yeah, is she baking cookies for you or baking cookies for the whole church?
Exactly. And then there's two more things I want to hit up on. They will be able to, they'll prove that you could trust them, and then they will not blackmail you. You know, they'll get you to reveal some information that could be somewhat damaging, but then they will never extort you on it. So then now you're able to trust her more, because you got vulnerable. You got vulnerable with her, and she proved to you that she's not like them other women that will release the pillow talk, right? And then lastly,
but they'll release it 10 years later.
Yes, in their tell-all book. Lastly, their whole goal is to become these female content creators. Their whole goal is to become your expensive hobby. That's right. They want to be your expensive
more than
hobby.
Warhammer 40K.
They want you. They want to see you sending those $10 super chats, those $20 super chats. And here's the other thing. Once let's say that you send a $10 super chat, and you go back to sending a $5 super chat, they might accidentally miss it. Yep. Or that $2 super chat, because it's not, you've already elevated to this threshold. They expect nothing less than this amount from you.
Oh my God. That is so true. That is so true.
Man,
that is
you always
a
set the
weird way.
standard.
It's such a weird way to look at it. Yeah, good.
Yeah. So watch out for these hoe tactics. What are some ways that guys could combat these hoe tactics?
Open your eyes. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, let's be honest. When it comes to some of this stuff, okay, now I remembered her name. Dating by Blaine. She is, a dating coach on Instagram that I followed for years now. And I was just watching one of hers the other day. She put out another reel, and it's just her at like a nice restaurant again. She keeps getting work done. She keeps having people pay her money, and she's giving advice. Like the advice that she gave on this specific reel, I would have to look it up to get the exact one. But the advice she was giving is advice that would keep a man in a cycle. So the dating advice, while it's kind of sugar coated as good, it actually, if you were to follow that, like I know myself as a dating coach, and also by being a man, if you were to follow that advice, it would keep you in a cyclical loop that you would never be able to break out of. And the whole purpose of dating coaching is to become good at dating, to then move on to that actual happy, healthy relationship. And it's just so dumb where she gets so much engagement and makes so much money, and she's just giving bad advice and looking pretty, and people are still fueling it. Like, open your eyes. If you, again, it goes back to the fisherman and the fish. If you want to learn how to catch fish, do not ask the fish. Ask the fisherman.
Yeah, and it's that cycle
Emphasis
that
on the
Rolo's
man.
talked about the churn marketing, right? And once again, it's same thing in the RP content space. It's when guys are not getting people, they're keeping people in that churn cycle rather than letting them move on. They keep them trapped there perpetually, where I call it self-helplessness. Right? You're not actually helping yourself. You're constantly listening to somebody telling you how to help yourself, and you're not actually taking action. I see guys instinctually do this, because most people will do this because it's the easiest path. Oh, if I'm educating myself, then I don't have to actually do anything, right? If you're constantly learning, you're never doing. And so there always has to be, I tell guys all the time, it goes back to the trade secrets, or trade maxims. Measure twice, cut once. You have to take an action. You can measure all day and never get anything done. Like if you just keep measuring over and over again, you know what the cut needs to be. But if you never make the cut, you don't have a board to build a house with. So you need to double check your work, but then take action. It's learn plus adapt equals win. It's 3 steps. Learn, check your work, and then do something. And a lot of guys will not do that when they're like thinking, oh, should I spend this money on this OnlyFans? Should I be spending this time in this conversation? As I said, I'll listen to a woman, but depending on what she says will determine when I cut that conversation off. That's the key thing. That's one of those boundaries where, as you pointed out, men always have to set the standard. You are the standard in your life. If you are not setting the standard for yourself and respecting yourself and your time, you're not a strong man. You are a weak man. And women will prey upon you when you demonstrate that weakness. Like, oh, but I lose all the girls. Yeah, good. If what you're doing is actually congruent with what you want in life, and you are being a responsible male human being, if a girl doesn't want you, then odds are, on a balance of probabilities, that she was going to try to finesse you and realize she couldn't. Saw that the competition was too fierce and decided to bow out. That's good. That's good that you're missing out. I know a lot of guys want all the pussy, right? But you're gonna lose a lot of pussy in general, even when you're doing everything right. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yep. Now, so I have two things to say. The first thing is, guys, it's very, very easy. This is how you avoid falling into these tactics. Rule number 1: if you, yes, you, right there, I'm looking right at you. If you are not actively fucking her, do not give her a dime. It's as simple as that. Oh, are you in a relationship? Are you fucking that female dating coach on YouTube? No? Then don't super chat. Ever. Don't become a member. Someone could say, well, then you shouldn't even watch her either. Well, yeah, that's another way of looking at it. But don't give her a dime. Ever. Unless you are fucking her. Number 2, I'll put myself back in group here. Did you guys see that video of that British hoe going into Five Guys and asking like that teenage boy wanted to take her out back and do things to her, and his reply was, "Ma'am, I'm a Christian. I'm waiting till marriage." Boom. Rejected her right there, live on camera. That was a fantastic moment. Shout out to that king. So that's an example of he knew what was up, and he stepped away from it.
I'm gonna have to find that one because that's a good example as well. But I did want to share with you guys kind of what I was talking about. So when it comes to these female creators, I was talking about dating by Blaine, and this we'll dissect this advice. There are 3 things that she's talking about here. We're talking about the places to meet quality women, high quality women.
Look, can I guess before you play it? Can I guess?
Quality
It's already playing.
high-end gyms. High-quality gyms attract high-quality women who are serious about their health, fitness, and mindset. Check out Pilates because you will probably be the only guy there. Quality supermarket. Places like Whole Foods are great because they are filled with women who take care of themselves. Networking and business events. The women who attend these events are usually ambitious and they are serious about their future. Here are some places.
No.
No.
So if you noticed,
Number 3 was the worst.
yeah,
Number
so
one's pretty bad. Number one,
to say the first one, high quality gyms. Okay, you're going to be dealing with gold diggers and women that value money more, like
Because they're going to want you to pay their gym bill.
do you know how
Yeah.
many women I banged in the gym? In the gym. Okay,
Or-
like
How many guys? 2?
none. That's you. Like, no, the gym is a great place to meet women. I mean, yes, it shows that they care about their physical, health, but it also shows that they're into their looks. They're really into selling their looks,
Yeah.
So, yeah, no.
So
Especially
you're
those
going to get
pants.
shallow. You're going to get, if you follow this advice, you're either going to get shallow women, gold diggers, or an alpha male type woman.
Or liberals, because liberal women shop at Whole Foods.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Whole Foods and
And-
it's not the gym.
And boss
this goes back
babes.
to this goes back to what I said before. The death by 1,000 concessions starts early. It doesn't
Yep.
start after you're in a relationship. It starts before. And this is
Yep.
the kind of advice that women are going to give you to gaslight you. And it's a shit test, right? Women do this automatically. I think it's just a subconscious thing, right? Where they're going to test you. They're going to see, they're just going to put it out there and see if you take the bait. And if you take the bait, they're just going to be like, ah, gotcha, bitch. And reel you in.
Gotcha, bitch!
And it's your fault, and they can't feel bad about it. Guys are like, "Oh, well, no, shouldn't the women feel bad about taking advantage of men?" Yeah, when they're offering it to them on a silver platter and begging them to take it,
I don't feel bad for men that get taken advantage of. That
they're not
are
being taken advantage of. They're giving that shit
Yeah,
willingly.
exactly.
And they're feeling bad that they didn't get the covert contract fulfilled that they set. but it's a covert contract. It's what nice guys do. You know, you didn't actually come up with an agreement or anything like that. You just felt
You
like
assumed.
you came up with an agreement.
You think that if you did this, she will do that, and you're holding her to this expectation that she never agreed to.
There's a lot of generational differences, I think, but there's a lot of truth that goes across every generation. One thing, you can meet quality women anywhere. Don't put off meeting a woman because if that's what you're looking for, just because you're at the gym or just because you're at Whole Foods. You never know where it's going to happen. But I did meet my sweetheart at a gym. But again, that was 31 years ago and a small town. There's definitely different things than what's going on in the world today. When I was in high school, me and all my friends, we wanted these girls to be hoes. We wanted them to be like the average girl today. That's all we wanted. We would have been so happy with it. And my kids,
I knew we could blame Thor. I knew we could blame Thor and Vidar. It's all their fault.
Yeah. Well, it probably is, because that's what we wanted so bad. But my kids growing up, they have the kind of women we desired, and they can't stand them. I think
the reason is it has to do with the. I think the reason is that it has to do with the lack of effort. Like your generation had to put in the work, like to get them to be that way. Now they're just kind of like come party packaged that way.
Part of the chase is something you might miss. I mean, we the women back then had what was called, they had a very strong anti-slut defense mechanism. They did not want to be called a slut. These girls today don't care. They don't care if they're called a slut. You had to convince a woman that give her plausible deniability, that it's your fault, not her fault. You take the blame for it so that she could have this, I'm not a slut, I'm not doing this, which was fine. I was happy to do that. Sometimes we called it Jedi mind tricks, but it's developed. Some people call it the game. There's some truths about it that when you learn all these tactics, the end result is that you're able to be yourself, and you're not presenting yourself as the guy that guy that's trying to hit on a woman. See, if a woman if she's a 7 or better, she's going to get hit on every time she goes in public. It's just going to happen. My wife is in her 50s, and she still gets hit on any time she goes in public, because that's the price you're going to pay for a beautiful woman. But they develop, at least these older ones, develop this defense mechanism that soon as a guy, and they develop it early on, as soon as a guy comes up and he looks like he's hitting on her, immediately they're put in a different category. They're stopped. They don't want to get to know that guy. He is now in that bad category. He's a creep. He's just trying to hit on me. I don't want anything to do with him. And that's where learning the game, where female psychology comes in. And that's why I taught it to my boys. Not so they could become pickup artists, because the other side is not that you're a pickup artist, but that you get to choose the woman that you want, rather than you settling for the first woman that smiles at you. And that's what happened with my first wife. This woman smiled at me. First girl that really came on to me. I ended up marrying her. She was my height, 5'9", 130 pounds when I met her, and she gained 100 pounds in the first year of marriage.
No way.
Yeah. So again, that's why I wanted to look at the mother. But yeah, so I had 5 years.
That was a real hoe tactic. That hoe had a tactic, and she deployed it. She's like, look, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to catch them, and I'm going to hook them, and I'm going to eat.
That was my
the RP calls that one the fat grenade.
Yep.
Hold the pin on the fat grenade.
So I want to say, women are just women.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
There's no good women. There's no bad women. They're just women.
Yep.
Just like there's no good men or no bad men. They're just men. right? How they treat you or how they treat people will determine whether they're going to be good or bad, right? If they see value in doing good to you, then they'll be good to you. If people don't see value in you, then they're not going to be inclined to be as good to you. You know, that's just what it is. People are just people, you know.
Yeah, going back to real quick what Mike asked before about what guys can do. Stop lying to yourself. Stop telling yourself that there's a chance or that you could finagle it or you could convince her or something like that, or you could buy her this or do this. Stop creating covert contracts. Quit trying to negotiate desire. Just look for the girls that genuinely desire you and are taking the actions, putting in the effort. And is she good for you? Once again, like you said, Glenn, there are no good girls or bad girls. I tell guys this all the time in the Fresh and Fit Discord. There aren't good girls and bad girls. There's just women that will be good for you and women that will be bad for you. And it's up to you to be honest with yourself, make a proper assessment, vet the woman, and make that decision. And if you make a bad decision like Vidar did in the first time, you know, he had to suffer with the consequences of that mistake. That's part of the learning process, and he had to go through it more than other people, but he can share his story now for the younger men, like, hey, for his sons, hey, you don't have to make that same mistake. And that's what this space is all about. Like, hey, this was a mistake I made, and here's why. It wasn't necessarily that I picked a woman. It was that I picked, or a good woman or a bad woman, is that I picked a woman that just gave me some attention, and she wasn't really good for me. And I found a woman that was actually good for me because of what I learned from that one. You know, as well as other factors. And this is the point. Aren't no good or bad. It's all about good for you or bad for you. It's very subjective. And that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. Oh, moral relative. No. You have to be honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. That's my number one advice.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like women, and we would say like, you know, church girls or, you know, girls of faith or, you know, are fall in the lines of good girls. And that's not true. I mean, just look at the divorce rate amongst like professing Christians, right? They have the highest divorce rate among all other religious groups. Well, you could say, well, that's because they're the majority in the country, sure, but you would still think that they would have probably a really low divorce rate, not damn near 50%, right?
Yeah. And
but there's one more hoe tactic before I wanted to hit before we got lost here. Yep. When it comes to the content creators, right? Content creator female hoe tactics. I don't have an issue, you know, people asking for support, you know, support the channel, hit the like, subscribe, you know, all that stuff, send a super chat. But listen to why they're asking you to send a super chat. It's important to understand they're probably going to ask you to help support an issue that they're dealing with. My car, help support. Yeah. You know,
the studio.
No. Studio is actually beneficial. Studio means I'm going to produce better content. I'm trying to grow the content. You know, it's something that's tangible that you as a viewer get to feel that you are contributing to.
Unless they never buy it.
But they're going to, if it's anything outside of production, right? It's my kid needs some, you know, to go to boys camp for, you know, gays or something, right? Like it's going to be some like issue that they're struggling with. Maybe they have an ailment or their kid has an ailment or something along the line. They want you to help support them that way. You have become a stepdaddy on child support and not even realizing it.
Boom, baby.
Boom. And I do have that clip real quick, and I actually have a point to make after I show it here. It's the only way to get audio. So let me alt-tab over. Full screen.
I just wondered, I can't see it on the menu, but where do I get the 5 guys from? The 5 guys. I didn't know if it was like a special room or you can take me out back.
No, I don't think that's happening.
What about after your shift? I mean, I'd want to give you, you know, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm saving myself tomorrow.
I'm asking for what's on the menu, that's all.
Genuinely, I feel like I'm doing it right now. I can hand you a menu if you want.
Are you on it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's a shame.
So now
that's a shame. That's a shame. No, what you just did, and even filming it, that's shameful behavior. You look like an idiot. If I saw my future girlfriend or whatever doing something like that, if I like pulled something like that up, God damn it, I'd lose all respect.
And see, there's going to be someone in the chat saying, "But Mike, isn't that genuine burning desire?" No. Because the interaction time between her asking him to split her wide open and her meeting him was basically 5 seconds. You cannot build genuine burning desire in 5 seconds, and what's key to all this is that young man knew that. That young man knows that it takes time to build up genuine burning desire, and he knows that a woman who goes around asking for things like that in 5 seconds is not worthy of his attention. He's only talking to her at that point now because that's his job, to offer her a menu. And he knows that she is trouble. So again, I think there's like a social media campaign to find that guy and give him a crown. But yeah, crown to that king right there.
Oh, I love it.
That's a good example of that's a good example of not lying to yourself. Because if a woman is being that direct with you, see, this is something that I've disagreed with that some of the red pill content creators say. Oh, if a woman just walks into a club and say somebody want to fuck, yeah, if there's enough guys in there, you're gonna get a couple of degenerate losers with probably with some STDs. I would say, yeah, I'll fuck that girl because they're willing to risk it. You know,
I do not like the fact that you just put me in that category there, Taro. Asshole.
that you would fuck the girl that just walked in the club and say, anybody want to fuck me?
No.
That's what I was saying. Like, that's one of the assertions that some of the guys in the manosphere have made, is that any girl, you know, because of how easy it is, when they're talking about how easy it is for girls to get sex, they can just walk up to a guy and be like, want to fuck. The thing is, most guys know it's a trap, right? That they know if a girl's being that overt, that something's up. Something else is going on. It's probably a setup. But a lot of guys today will lie to themselves and be like, so you're saying there's a chance? And this guy didn't lie to himself. He was in a professional environment. And I'm glad you brought this up, because this is how you should address a lot of these situations. If a girl's being too heavy-handed with you, you need to trust your gut, even if it turns out she did have genuine burning desire for you. Probably not, because as we know in this space, as pickup artists have been teaching for years, there are attraction triggers. And it is possible, like if you're somebody like a Waller, for you to trip many of those attraction triggers and get a girl falling over herself. But most of the girls that are going to give you that kind of attention, it's not genuine attention. They're looking to see if they can get something out of you. And at the very least, it's usually your time. Something that many men give up, not realizing it.
Yep. And guys, we're not saying that a first date lay is not genuine or is a setup. But like, because I've gotten first date lays. But it was after a 2-hour date and, you know, there's 2 drinks in each of us and we've had a good time. So, but it took 2 hours. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is whether or not the time, it doesn't matter. Were the attraction triggers properly met? There are it's not one size fits all. Yeah, it's not one size fits all, but there are very distinct attraction triggers that will let you into a girl's pants. That's one of the reasons why it's not good to let your girl just go out to the club, because if she gets in her feelings and a guy comes up and talks to her, that's why the girls used to have the anti-slut defense. If a guy even talks to me, I'm going to turn him down because he could talk his way into her pants. When most women, once again, same thing with women lying to themselves too. They want to lie to themselves now. Oh, I can go to the club. I would never cheat on my man. Yeah, except for that one time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It just happened. But
that
anyways,
count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. It doesn't count because I didn't mean it. Really into him.
My heart wasn't into it. I didn't love him.
Yeah, or he wore a condom. Either or. But anyways, guys,
it was before we met.
Let's close out the show here. We're going to be transitioning to continue some of this conversation alongside some other things, just over to Glenn's channel. But before we do so, again, give a shout out to those who have shouted us out as well. Siege D, who wants Glenn to join more DragonShip podcasts?
First of all, I'm the master of arms. Nobody could take my title of this space. Okay, like I just have to prioritize it.
Yeah. Yep, that's really what it comes down to. Glenn's been so busy.
It's a me problem. It's a me problem. Okay, guys, it's a me. It's not you. It's me.
And well, Glenn, plug that. Don't pull it up necessarily, but plug that.
I don't know what he did. He probably accidentally left the studio.
All right, we'll let him come back in here, but okay.
Yeah, you guys thought
Okay.
I had you there, Mike, for a second. Yep.
Yeah. So, Glenn, real quick, just to give an example of why you're so busy, plug that music video in that with Tom McDonald.
Oh yes. Yeah. I did a music video with Tom McDonald and Dax called Soldier. Right before Veterans Day. Go check it out. Good music video. And actually Tom McDonald will be coming on my show next month, I believe. We're gonna do an interview once the studio's finished setting up.
Yeah, Tom McDonald is a fucking real one, guys. You do not want to miss that. Dude is based as fuck, and there's no other way to say it.
Yep.
Good shit. But yeah, I hope in the future, Glenn, you can join more, because I have to say, so far today, I've had a hell of a lot of fun. I love goofing around with you, and you do bring great information as well. And I've missed you, man. I've missed you.
Dude.
Stop being gay. Stop being gay.
You abandoned me. You abandoned me. I'm here in Vegas by myself now.
Well, I mean, we could get into that, but that's a whole longer story. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you want to go ahead and read the rest of these out? We got Crazy Mama here with the $2 super chat.
There's only one way to read this. Can we talk about Glenn having both ears pierced? Oh my god.
He must be bi.
Crazy Mama knows better. The hell? No. Okay, I just didn't know which ear was the gay ear, and I was like, shit, I better get them both pierced, because I don't want to know, like, I don't want to be caught with the wrong ear pierced. So just got them both done.
Solving problems using logic. Makes sense.
ZT Den with the $5 super chat. If she truly a good girl, she will not be that far away from family.
That is true, and I don't mean distance though. She will be okay with some physical distance, but that connection is still there. I mean, hell, I didn't even realize it that when we had moved at least a fair distance from my girlfriend's family, she still calls her mom every single day on her drive home from work. So as long as they still have that closeness, doesn't necessarily have to be physical because the world changes. As long as they have that connection to their family, always a good sign.
But maybe what ZT's getting at here is that, no, if she is maybe good for you, since there are no good girls, then she will make an effort to not move away from her family. Like, she will not be a girl boss pursuing a career that takes her all over the country and the world. She's going to stay in town. Like, she'll get a job in town and live a couple miles from her family, but she won't, become an advertising executive and move to LA 2,000 miles away from her family. Maybe that's what he's getting at.
Well, it's really what it is you got to think about it. It's close proximity to the father. The father still has some influence or guidance there.
Mm-hmm.
I've known some bad girls that are close with their family though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, is their family also bad then?
My girl, her dad had passed away before we met, so I never got to meet him. He wasn't really involved with her life. Our family was divorced. And she had a couple of really manipulative sisters. So she was kind of and her mom was like not cool with it, but she was allowing it. Right. So I actually had to help them like more or less restore their family relationship because she wanted to part ways with them. And actually was trying to use me more or less as the exit strategy and make me the bad guy. Right. Yeah. Like, oh, he made me do it. I'm just like, no, you need to I just taught her, you need to deal with your family like an adult. They kept telling us
they have this problem with owning why they're doing it. They always want to blame someone else for it. Like
exactly. And that's what I was saying is like your sisters keep telling you to grow the fuck up when you tell them no, they need to grow the fuck up and respect the no. So that's one of the things that I taught her to do. And she ended up reconciling with her family. Her mother did pass away.
Say no.
Yeah, her mother passed away a couple of years ago, but the thing is that they had fully reconciled, were on good terms, and were even tolerable terms with the sisters. And my girl wouldn't have done that unless I pushed her to do that. That's one of those other examples of me empowering my woman, is that I encouraged her to mend fences with her family so that way she could, have that closure in her own sanity, right, for her own mental health. Because I'm like, if you estrange yourself from your family, like I had to kick my own dad out and I reconciled with him 8 years later, right? It's just like, if I didn't have that, I don't know how much that would haunt me, honestly. And I'm glad that I did do that.
I think there's a big difference. There's a difference between just in our structure, the way men and women are different. Having 6 boys, and I was always proud, and I'm a macho guy. I only have boys, and It's held true in our family. The same thing with Thor, and in our generation, it goes back 5 or 6 generations, only boys. So very excited. We only have boys, but as I got older, I realized something, that boys, when they find their mate, they leave, and they're not around. They may travel halfway or completely across the country, where girls, good or bad, they seem to stick around their parents. And it would have been nice to have one that did that. So it's I think this is the makeup. In fact, it's even in the Bible. It says, "For this cause shall a man leave his mother and father and cleave unto his wife." It's just our nature.
Well, and that goes to being the masculine leader of the relationship and his family. I believe it is the man's responsibility to, when he's single, to go out into the world and face danger and do some stupid things that don't have permanent consequences, and actually see some shit, so that when he leads his woman and raises his children, he can say to his son, don't go to this part of town at a certain time of night because shit goes down there. How does he know that? Because he did it. Things like that.
Exactly. And being the protector and the breadwinner, that's our masculine duty. We make our way for our family, and our family, our immediate family, our wives and our children become our main emphasis. So we do. It's in our nature. We leave our mother and father, and we cleave unto our wife and our families.
All right, we got $10 here from Darwin McPherson. Great show, brothers. Salute to Glenn. Thank you very much. And guys, your support goes... The heck was that? Glenn? Thank you very much for... Thank you, Glenn. We appreciate you.
I imagine him just sitting there picking his nose and just trying to troll.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Huds. I was really just picking my nose a second ago.
Douglas Alushin with the $2 super chat. We appreciate that. Thank you. Shadow Buddha with the $2 super chat. Congrats, Glenn, on an award. Gym is the new nightclub. Am I right, you guys? That's what's going on with the hips and the hops and the hoppities, and get the girls. Gotta get them all. Thank you very much for your support. Douglas Alushin again with the $2 super chat. So you guys are saying there are quality women?
Fuck
there
yes,
are. There are, and there's no perfect woman, and there's no good women. There are women that are good for you, and some women are higher quality than other women. But there's no S tier of women where if a woman fits into that S tier, she is the perfect match for any man on the planet. No.
In the same way that there's no perfect man, like everybody has preferences, and it's good for you. I really like how you said that. Good for you.
Yeah, that's part of the apex fallacy. It's a bell curve. It's not like Highlander rules.
It's not binary.
Yeah.
It's not zeros and ones. And Douglas Alushin again with the $2 super chat. Dancing around Nalwalt as if some are different. Well, so here's the thing. Which way does it go, Huds? It's all women are the same, but not all women are like that? Or is it the other way around? All women are like that, but not all women are the same?
Women are women. It's just women are women.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how they see you, how they value you, is determined on how they're going to treat you. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's the basic maxim that Rollo says. Women make rules for betas and break them for alphas. They make the rules for all men, but the thing is that they break them for higher quality men. Or men that exhibit higher quality behaviors. So if you're exhibiting those, basically, those behaviors trip those attraction triggers. Those attraction triggers drop her panties. And if you don't do it, then at any point you trip a wrong trigger, boom, leg snap shut, panties pull up, boom, gone.
Yep.
Like her pussy dries up, and that's the thing.
But it's not just
all about those attraction triggers.
But it's not just about sex. If your woman views you and if she's good enough, like at least she's got a good moral compass, and if she views you as higher up than her, then she will start to do even more and more and more to make your life better. She will continue to improve that. That's really what it comes down to. Like, all women come from the same basic firmware in the same way that all guys come from the same basic firmware. The software can be manipulated. It just comes down to that burning desire, which then determines, it comes down to the burning desire, which becomes the willingness to modify, adjust, and improve, alongside the moral compass that is built up through their development that determines how they're going to play in that game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the analogy that I use is you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, but a hoe can become a housewife if she wants it bad enough.
Yes, and the example that I give is hypergamy is like a liquid. It takes the shape of its container. And the example that I always use is an Amish girl and a Miami hoe. So if you look at a Miami hoe, what do you see in your head? You see a fresh and fit Miami hoe, right? She wants a millionaire. She's getting blown out on yachts. She's a yacht thought, the whole nine, right? We all know the trope. Well, an Amish girl doesn't act like that. Why not? Because she's in a community where her options for men is very small, and it's a predefined community. Now, so the question is, what happens to the Amish girl if you plop her down in Miami for 2 years?
You know exactly what happens. It's the same thing that
actually,
happens to a lot of guys. I just want to say this: it happens to a lot of guys when they do, when they're passport bros, and then they bring a woman here who's not familiar with the culture, but then they're introduced into the most aggressive aspects of the culture, and then they turn into a thought themselves.
Actually, I got to shatter your bubble a little bit here, Mike, and give you some uncomfortable information, some red pill truths about the Amish community. They have a tradition in the Amish community. Rumspringa, yes. And that's what they do. When they're young, they plop them down in Miami type circumstances where they can smoke, they can drink, they can do drugs, they can fuck if they want to. They can literally do all the sinful things, and then they get an ultimatum. They make a choice: either keep doing that shit or come back and never do that shit again.
And most of them choose to come back. What I'm talking about in my example is what happens if you take the Amish girl, you put her in Miami, and she stays. What's going to happen to her hypergamy? Because the container is larger, she has greater access to more degeneracy and more men. Then the guy who can build a barn with his bare hands is not the alpha Chad anymore. Now it's a different guy. That's the point.
Yeah, and then it comes back to what that individual woman wants for a lifestyle. Does she just want to? Girls just want to have fun. If she wants to live that lifestyle for the rest of her life, that's what makes the Miami girl. And most girls just want to have fun. But there are a few of them that realize the fuckery, they're faster learners before they hit the wall, air quotes, and will decide to settle down younger. My girl tried to, settle down with me younger. She was just 21. And she wanted to have, marry and settle down and have a family and get out of the whole lifestyle early. She tried to get out before she even hit her prime. She had that in her head, right? A lot of girls today, and even back then, did not have that in their head. Even the party girls I was hanging out with back then, they were thinking about the bullshit that feminism teaches you. I'm going to settle down when I'm like a man when I'm 35 or 40. And then I'm going to build my family after I have my fun in college and then have my career. And I'm going to build my family. That's what every girl I knew growing up was trying to do, like most of them. But there were a few of them, like my girl. I met her, he met her girl. Vider met his girl at a gym. I met my girl at a fucking kegger. Well, she was dating my brother's friend, and she ended up liking me more.
Keg stand?
She didn't do a keg stand, but
no gag reflex, right?
The point is, well, that's something that comes with exposure therapy. But the point is that I met her at a wild party out in the country, and this is why I think it's funny that people, like Myron, always shits on like, oh, there's not hot girls out in the country and shit like that. Just like, where the fuck are you looking? Yeah, if you're in the cities, there's a bunch of fatties, but if you go outside, go out in the country, go to places where the hot girls go, just like in the city. The hot girls don't go to every place. They go to certain places where they can find attractive males that are higher quality, whether they're in shape or have money, whatever the case of status, and even in the community, they still gravitate towards hypergamous areas.
Yep.
Once again, proving the point.
So we got to wrap here, guys. This is our last super chat that we're going to go around the horn. Danny Arnold with the $5 super chat. Not all firearms are loaded. Not all snakes are venomous. But would it not behoove you to treat them like they are? Got to get a cup of coffee and some sunglasses. Wear those sunglasses even at night sometimes, because my future's so bright, like Glenn Lawrence. I got to wear shades.
That's a very good point.
First of all, I'm protesting for Danny Arnold. Okay, that was the worst voice impression on him. All right, you don't understand how masculine that man sounds. All right, you got to throw some bass in there when you're going to do his voice. All right.
Danny Arnold or Christopher Walken?
Danny Arnold.
Well, Mike's just switching around his different accents.
I know.
He kind of goes through that multiple personalities.
I'm playing with him. Just next time,
I know.
Danny Arnold, masculine.
Dare you?
Got to think like your bass.
So Glenn, real quick before we wrap up here, I want to use the soundboard for a minute here. So you need these two for some of the spurgs that come on your panel sometimes.
My God, are you still talking?
We do not care.
I need you to just send those to me. Send them to me in Telegram, please.
Yeah, send them to me too. I
ASAP.
gotta get my stream deck set up.
I will load it up immediately.
Oh, you need to, Viking, you need to add the one where the guy goes, "What the hell is even that?"
Oh, I might have that. I have over 500, and you can always download more.
Daddy, chill. What the hell is even that?
This thing needs to get full.
Yes.
So whatever you can send me, whatever you can help me with, I got to fill this thing up.
So
I'll give you guys the full the file dump.
So let's go around the horn here. Now Glenn is switching over to his main channel. Let's Glenn, you go first here, sir. Where can people find you? And he's frozen.
He's frozen.
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and start. Have Glenn go last. I'm going to share the that in the chat for everybody. So if you do want to join this show with Glenn as we continue on, that's the link to be able to do so. Now, for me, kind of what's going on, we are ramping things up with my Men of Now community. Very excited. Last week, we had Paul's business coach, Nikki, come on. And good Lord, was that probably one of my favorite conversations I've ever had. So I'll go ahead and throw the Men of Now YouTube channel up here if you guys wanted to check that out. If you want to become an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, or you're just hitting plateaus and you just want to succeed even further, oh my God, this guy is a breath of fresh air to help you do so. I've got a consulting call with him coming up next week, and I'm just very excited. He just gets it. And if you're like in this red pill space, he probably is the perfect person that is in alignment of values with you. He's well worth everything. Oh my God. I can't sing praises enough. And I've already thanked Paul, but I'll thank him publicly again. Thank all you guys. You guys really just, you extend connections and make further connections and just improve people's lives in so many different ways. I'm just forever thankful for that. We will be opening enrollment into that group by the end of the month. And that's going to be very exciting because we do limited enrollment throughout the year. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And then outside of that, if you are a part of the Dragons membership of the DragonShip, we have an upcoming meeting this Tuesday where we have a very special presentation that is going to be talking about money management and how to actually be successful, because a lot of people step on their own dick for way too long. So it's going to be a very exciting time. That's what I got going on.
All right. I guess I'm up next. So yeah, Viking Paradigm, you can find me there. I haven't started my video game streaming yet. The current game I'm playing actually fucking cooked my graphics card. A little fun story. I'll tell that sometime. But yeah, other than that, I hope that the practical advice that I gave, stop lying to yourself about, women. right? They're going to be honest with you if you just pay attention. A lot of guys I see over and over again, they just create these covert contracts, start lying to themselves, and then the women can they'll just go along with it. If you lie to yourself, women will go along with your lie. And that's when they start using you. And if you're mad about it, it's because, once again, you're really mad at yourself. Stop lying to yourself, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir. Vidar. You're muted. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, I got some advice for younger gentlemen here. You want to not get with a bad girl and try to make her good. That's nothing but heartache. I know from experience. You need to get a good girl and try to make her bad. That's been nothing but fun. I've had 31 years of trying to turn her bad. Haven't succeeded yet, but boy, it's been fun, and I'm not stopping yet.
Damn! Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, you don't take a bad girl and try to make her good. It's nothing but heartache. Find a good girl and try to make her bad. It's nothing but fun.
Fuck you.
Damn! Damn! That is so good. Thank you, sir. I'm stealing that, and I'm never going to forget it. Thank you. Guys, find me on IG if you like wholesome things. You want shots of cities and nature.
Wholesome things. Wholesome things. That's what he said. Just hear that.
Yeah. If you want shots of cities and food and landscape and wholesome things, you can follow me at IG, Mike_Steele_Vegas. But if you want to see me raw dog the internet into an early grave, then follow me on X, where I keep things very spicy. That's Mike_Steele_ without the Vegas. And that's where things get really nasty. That's where my true colors come out. So, follow one, both, whatever you want to do. Guys, this may be my last dragon ship. We shall see. But I have picked up a second job that I'll, when I get some pictures and some video done, I will share with everyone what that job is. But I'm here to make that fat bank. So, sometimes that means working all day Saturday. And when you got to make that bank, that takes priority over everything else, as we all know. And sometimes we have to make sacrifices, and some things have to go by the wayside. But I will be around, lurking in the shadows. Even if you don't see me here, I am here in spirit. I love you all very much, and it's been an absolute blast.
So you just confessed to be everybody's peeping Tom?
I'm peeping on you constantly, Glenn.
He's the big brother. He's
Where can you find me? You can find me at your mom's house after 11 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturdays are my free days, so I just kind of like don't go to your mom's house. But you can find me on my channel. You guys know Glenn Lawrence Presents. We're gonna be having like a post stream after this one, so if you want to find your way over there, we'll be over there. We are gonna be, coming up with some crazy topics. Like I said, we're gonna have Turd Flinging Monkey on sometime this week, so it's gonna be pretty cool. We're gonna talk about turds and monkeys.
Oh my god, that black pillar
and like the sex doll stuff that he's into. Yeah, we're gonna get into all that fun stuff, and how AI is gonna be playing a vital role in this, world. Come join the party. That's where you can find me. Tell your mom I'll be there about 11:30
the sex robots again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're talking about the sex robots again. Definitely. Tell your mom I'll be there around like 11:30, 11:15. See you guys then.
But it's time to run.